Hello everybody, welcome to Baking with me, Sammy. Today we are going to make, as I put my hair up here, we are going to make some apple oat baked bars today. So it's almost kind of the same recipe if you guys remember the brownie recipe with the oats. It's kind of the same thing. So what you're going to want to do is you'll want a glass dish, something like this, 9x9 or an 8x9 or whatever, and then you want to put your oven on preheat for 350. Then from there you're going to want 4 apples. I like green apples, but you can use whatever apple you want. You'll want 2 bananas, preferably on the greener side. You'll want some vanilla, some baking powder, some baking soda. I'm going to use a little bit of nutmeg. You'll want 2 eggs as well. Grab my eggs. So you'll want 2 eggs. So try not to crack them. And some oats, preferably organic because of the glyphosate. And that's really about it. It's a pretty low recipe. The fun thing is if you're using a food processor, which I do recommend because it makes this process pretty quickly, these apples are going to really foam up in here, so just watch out for that. You also won't be able to put all 4 in at once. So first things first is we're going to put in our bananas. Again, preferably on the greener side, just because it gives me a little bit more fiber, which is something that I appreciate, is more fiber. As everyone should in their diet, we like to stay regular here. And then I just break them into 2s or 3s and stick them in right into my food processor. And then from there, what I like to do is I will add in 2 apples. And you don't have to like chop them up too much. I normally just do like and in they go. Nothing too extensive. The nice thing about this, it's basically like a one-pot recipe, which we love to see. It's pretty easy. And like I said, I'm just chopping up 2. I'm going to chop up all 4, but just to have them ready to go for when I can put them in the food processor. But for now, just a quick rough chop, 1 or 2 or 3 chops, because it's going to pretty quickly fill your food processor. And then I'm just going to chop these guys up again just so they're ready. You'll also want to make sure that when the time is right to spray your container, your baking dish, with some olive oil. It's going to help you out a bit with the non-stick part. And you will want to refrigerate these bars. They make 8 oat bars, okay? But refrigerate them. They will last the full 8 days if it's only you eating them. It is only me eating them in this household, so. Some rough chops getting ready and roaring to go here. All right, now that I have that roughly chopped, I'm going to add in my 2 eggs. And there's no particular order, really. Honestly, this is just the order that I like to put these in, but it doesn't necessarily have to be this order. So I got my 2 eggs. Those are in. Then from there, I just have baking soda. I just do 1, 2, little dash. And then my baking powder, same thing, a little dash. That's actually the rest of my baking powder, so I'm gonna have to buy some more. But it's about probably, I'd say, a teaspoon of baking soda to about a half a teaspoon or a quarter teaspoon. If you do want to measure things, for the baking soda baking powder. And then you have your oats. I use Bob's Old Fashioned. You want 2 cups of oats. Oh, there we go. We got 2 cups of oats here. The nice thing about this also is it's pretty easy cleanup. All right, oats are in. I'm just gonna do, I don't have any cinnamon on me, so I'm gonna use nutmeg, and I'm just gonna go and do a dash just to give it a little something, something. Not a ton, just to your liking. Nutmeg's a pretty powerful spice. You don't need a ton. And then just a dash of vanilla. Or a little pour, you know, with your heart on that vanilla. And then it looks like I can actually fit a couple of pieces of apple on top here before this actually closes up. So I'm just going to put some in. And now it's about to get loud because we are going to grind this. I'm going to move you guys over so that you can see. So here's my food processor. That's what that's looking like. Before I process, I'm going to get the rest of my everything ready. So I got my olive oil spray. Just going to spray that into my pan. Make sure I am good to go. Going to grab out basically everything that I need to do and be with an oven. I'm still preheating here. And then we will also want good old spatula to get this out. So it's gonna get loud here for a second. Should probably plug this in before I press the power button. So once it starts to kind of go down, I'm gonna add in more apple to the top. You should only have to do it twice because it really should all basically fit in there. So like the first time was the first time and this is the second time. Like I said, it will start to bubble up and that's fine. Just give it a tap, open it up because it will kind of blend in. Stick it back on. Another tap. I like to have my apples a little bit more chunky so you can hear the air. Feels like it's gonna explode. I know it's not. You know, turn your power off, unplug some things. Like I said, I like mine a little chunkier. So I am going to leave my apples more chunky. It smells like an apple pie in here, but it's really great because, you know, apples are in season in the wintertime, so it's kind of nice to do that. All right, so all you gotta do from here, we're gonna keep moving you guys around, is pour, let's try that again. Pour into your ready to go dish, which is pretty easy. I'm just gonna take the inside blade out of my food processor. And this is a really good, if you like, you know, you got a big family, it's a good little breakfast that will last the day. You can make it any way you want to. The best thing about oats is you don't even have to do apple oats. If you want to make these pumpkin oats, just add a can of pumpkin to it. If you want to do like orange oats or cranberry, or make it like a Christmassy thing, or a different holiday, whatever you celebrate, you can do that as well. Oats are versatile. And all we do is plop. This does make more than the brownie because of the apple, which is nice. It just gives it, it's just plumpier. That makes sense, like it's more voluminous, not plumpy, voluminous. I mean, it definitely is more plump, but I like volume better. It's just a better word. As I get all of my apple oat from around that center part. So normally, like you guys saw if you watched when I made the chocolate baked oats, how small that was in volume compared to these. So adding in those fruits will really kind of bulk it up. And then I just spread it around, make it nice, and then it goes into the oven. My oven's about to beep here. It's at 340 now, so once your oven's preheated at 350, you're gonna put it in the oven. I'm gonna tell you it's 20 to 30 minutes, but what you're gonna wanna do at about minute 20 is you're gonna wanna take it out, you're gonna wanna give it a jiggle. If it still jiggles, put it back in for another 5 minutes, take it out. Jiggle it again. If it still jiggles, put it back in until it doesn't jiggle anymore. So it may be 20 minutes if you're doing a smaller amount. Honestly, I don't keep time of things anymore. I'm just like, oh, it's been about 20. Let's see where we're at from here. Are we jiggly? Are we not jiggly? The goal is for not jiggly, then you know that it is fully cooked, and then you can let that sit and rest on your stovetop or your countertop until it cools. Once it's cool, cap it and stick it in your fridge. Again, that's gonna last you at least 8 days, because again, I cut these in half and then into 4s, so I get 8 bars and they still taste good. I warm them up in the microwave before I eat them. Feel free to spice it up in any other ways that you like, but that's how you make apple baked oats. I'm gonna stick these in the oven and we'll go from there. Any questions? Comment below.